Hoof trimming is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're gonna get. This is the Hoof GP and a bunch of cows which may or may not have problems. I'm Graham Parker and you're watching the Hoof GP.
And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you.
This cow, for instance, has a bandage on her back right foot. It wasn't us that trimmed it, so I have no idea what's wrong with it. One thing I do know is though, we're gonna unwrap it and find out. One last. One last one. A lot of the time, Graham would actually look like he knew what he was doing. But as soon as we get the camera out, he likes to look unprofessional.
Standing on the back, and then when you move the bit further on.
Answers in the comments if you've any idea what he said. Why am I talking in a voice like this? Right. First foot. Look, you can see that this wasn't us that trimmed this cow's foot, but you can see whoever's done it has modelled. They've actually, I don't want to be overly critical, but they've actually modelled out a little bit low, and they could have gone a bit wider, which would have been better. But they definitely get points for at least doing something. There's a bit of bruising in there and a bit of a crack. We want rid of that crack if possible. We might not be able to because we don't want to take this too thin, but we do want to model out wider because it not being modelled out wide enough is what has partly caused that bruising. The inside claw doesn't matter quite so much, so we're not going to model it out as wide, but we are going to get rid of all these little scraggy, horrible crack bits of hoof horn, because as you can see they just collect dirt and manure, and we'll just widen that a little bit more while we're here. Lovely. Right, off comes the bandage. You can actually see the salicylic acid that's been on this wrap. Bit of the red stuff there, so that's me thinking that it's not completely healed. Doesn't smell fantastic either. While Craig grabs the hose, we'll quickly trim the front feet, which actually look pretty good. Right, and round we go to the next one. Lovely. So actually, as we begin to wash off this hoof, it's a really good demonstration of why we don't wash off every single hoof that comes within our crush. You can actually see me needing to use the knife here to cut some of the dirt off. Manure can become exceptionally well stuck on, or adhesion is fantastic to some hoofs. So using the knife, we need to cut through the dirt and then rinse it away. To do this with every hoof would take an immense amount of time, so we just don't do it. This one, however, really needed it. As you can see, she has some sort of growth or something on this claw. So what we are going to do is we're going to put a block on and we will rewrap it, but we're going to trim that out as well a little bit better than it is. Sorry, not better, a little bit more than it is. Okay, so we're gonna get these, we're actually gonna balance them up just a little bit more. You can see pith there, that white powder. Skimming the grinder over this inner claw, you can clearly see the pith now. That is natural shedding of the hoof horn, and it lets us know exactly how deep we can go with the removal of these outer layers of hoof horn. Right, with that done, it's time for the rock. So we're using an orange block here because this will last much longer, and this is a long-term problem, unfortunately. Ooh, drying quick. Unfortunately for the cow. So we need this plastic block to stay in place for as long as possible. Using a wooden one is fantastic in most cases, but wooden ones wear away within about 6 to 8 weeks. This one won't wear away at all. What will happen is natural shedding, like the pith on the other claw, will happen, and eventually this glue and block will fall off because of the natural shedding, and it will have nothing to attach to. Right, let's get this wrapped up. It's right, you know where it is, yeah, right up the front there. Again, I've said this before, but these wraps are biodegradable, so we can leave this on for a couple of weeks and it'll just start to deteriorate over time and hopefully heal up that problem on the front of our foot. It's so noisy here today because of these bulls. There's 3 in that pen and they can smell the pheromones coming off Craig, so they're getting all juiced up and ready to go.
Can't help I'm sexy, Graham. I can't help it.
I'll give him that one. At the beginning of this video, I did do a very poor impression of Forrest Gump and say that hoof trimming is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and that is exactly the case. We don't really see this very often, and we've no idea what's coming next. Right. Cow number 2. And I'm fairly sure she's not lame. And just like I said, just like a box of chocolates. There's nothing wrong with this foot, it's just slightly overgrown, and that's why we're removing so much material from that outside claw. All we're doing is modelling it out as wide as possible, balancing up the inner claw and doing a slight model there before grabbing the knife and increasing the size of the model. Stay still. They have to play ball with us, so and stay nice and still for us, although they don't always listen. She did though. Just get that as deep as possible. We like it as deep as possible. And again, routine trimming at its finest. This outside claw is slightly oversized, meaning that there's too much weight in it, and the main job of a hoof trimmer is to make sure the balance between both claws is equal before balancing it out with a grinder. This is the main job of a hoof trimmer. Routine trimming cow's feet, which really don't have anything wrong with them. But don't tell anyone, because they'll realise how easy our job can be on a day-to-day basis, and everybody will want to do it. Although, to be fair, the code browns may put them off. Some people might like it. Right, lovely, just get rid of these little cracks. And that's her done.
Ready? Okay. Can you say there, right? And just like a box of chocolates, this claw here is this and that.
That's nothing like a box of chocolates at all.
How?
I've never had a box of chocolates with a claw in it.
So what are you
I have.
Well, we want to cut.
Your chocolates. What?
Well, need to want to cut back. You said it, no, right?
What? Life's like a box of chocolates?
No, you said that claw was like a box of chocolates.
No, I said, and like I said, like a box of chocolates.
Aye. But no, it wasn't right.
How?
I don't think it was right.
It was. It was right, wasn't it? That made sense. I was talking because this.
Stop nodding here, quick look at it.
No,
Stop
I'm
nodding here,
not.
quick
No, I'm
look at it.
not.
Come back.
We're busy. What I'm saying is that last. Stop coughing.
Sorry.
What I'm saying is that last cow's foot was like sore, so that was one type of chocolate, and this other claw is like another type of chocolate because it's plain. It makes sense. If it makes sense, put loads of emojis in your comment underneath, like loads of them. If it doesn't make sense and you agree with Graham, just put one. Aubergine, eggplant. trimming away, and out of the corner of my eye, just behind us here, I can see this cow not wanting to put her foot on the ground. Now, a lot of times I say that and they can touch the ground, but as you see, she's standing still and literally will not touch the ground whatsoever with that foot. So clearly there's something wrong, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is her foot. Problems like this can often be related to their limbs, to their legs or their back. So hopefully we'll get her in the crush later on and we can see. To be honest, we can cut to that right now. So she's not quite in the crush yet. She is in the pen by herself and actually walking fairly well. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. What is that noise? Somewhere over there. Sounds like a bull. She's actually got a block on it. I'll be honest, love, I've no idea what's going on with you right now. Although we should know pretty soon. Actually, if I put her number into the computer, it should tell us if we've trimmed her before or not. What number are you? 640. Put 640 in, will you? Did you come up with any history? Yep. Why did you put it in then?
I used to that, I don't know why. I honestly don't know.
That's weird.
No, okay. Been in, but
we didn't find anything wrong with it. When was the last time she was in? That's today.
in December.
2 months ago. Yeah. And we didn't find anything wrong. Yep, none the wiser yet. Right, this is her in the crush. Yeah, we never filmed this. This is a sleeves rolled up kind of job. Look at how sore that is. So this isn't cow 640. We mistook. We were mistaken. This is cow 1640. You can see the obvious mistake. So we haven't trimmed her before. This was trimmed by the guy who works on this farm. I feel terrible because I've forgotten his name. And it's covered in dermatitis. Just look right up in there. No wonder she is so sore. Dermatitis is an incredibly sore problem. This is a white line lesion, so it's cracked right up the inner wall of her foot and then got infected with dermatitis. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take away all of this outer hoof horn because it's not doing her any good whatsoever. Remove all of this raggedy stuff and see what's underneath here. And then there's even detached hoof horn right up in there, so we're going to get rid of that as well. But also, you can see the back of this block is wearing because she's walking on that. So we need to get her straightened up and we need this completely off the ground. So we will be adding another block. So unfortunately, as I trim away with the grinder here, the vibrations going through her foot will be hurting her to some extent. But it's the lesser of two evils and we need to reduce this overburdening wall horn to make sure that it doesn't collect slurry and manure. The aim of the game is to keep this claw as clean as we can so that we can get rid of that dermatitis and hopefully encourage the healing process to actually begin. Almost the whole of this hoof is being eaten away. Put that up in there just to keep it apart, and then as gently as possible get rid of this terrible looking hoof horn. See, look, that's not detached, not attached. So I'll put my knife under it and flick it away and hopefully we'll be alright. Which we are. Right, we want to attack this bit up in here. And the axial wall. Oh, flick, and it's away. Doesn't look like we're doing all that much. But all of these little changes should add up to a really big change for her. Sometimes, oh, you can see it oozing out actually from underneath there. She's protesting it being in the crush. You're not always sure whether that's because this is so uncomfortable or just because she's in the crush. Because they don't like to be restrained, which obviously I wouldn't either, to be totally honest. bruising at the tip of my knife. It's not the red stuff, it's just very red bruising. Right, you can see it's actually going up inside the wall cavity. Well, it shouldn't be a cavity, but it is now. Eating away from inside. Right, so looking at our toe end on here, we've removed a huge amount of detached hoof horn. These types of problems are incredibly hard for the cow to hide from, which is why she was standing with her foot right up off the ground. This is toe necrosis, where the bone inside the foot is actually decaying away, and we need to make sure it's right up off the ground. I'm actually really happy with how this trim's gone, but we need to get it off the ground completely so that all of the pain, all of the pressure, and therefore the pain, is dispersed into the other claw. Right. Again, we need to grind off the outer portion of this wooden block that's still in place to get a flat and level surface so that the cow isn't walking back on her heel. And then by placing this orange block on top, it won't wear away, and we're putting it further back on the foot to hopefully make sure she contacts the foot true and square with every stride. Now obviously we're going to wrap this up with salicylic. The main problem here is the dermatitis. That's what's actually getting right into the foot and causing all of these problems, and what's making it so sore. So that is what we need to deal with before this hoof can actually begin to heal. If you think about it, it's actually being eaten away as it regrows and is reconstructed by the cow. So how could it ever heal without the dermatitis being removed? Lovely. I don't expect her to walk perfectly. I don't expect her to keep her foot on the ground. This is an incredibly serious issue, and it's not going to weigh in 5 minutes, is it? Considering all of the trauma that she's going through right now, it's actually incredible how well she walks away from the crush. This has been the Hoof GP, and you have been the herd. If you've made it this far, please think about joining this community and subscribing to the channel.